The American Revolution inspired the world 250 years ago when we just got done celebrating how badass it was to break from the corruptible British crown. And now it seems like we are inspiring some Brits to break away from their corrupt British leadership. You've probably never heard of the town of Pittington. You can see here it is on the outskirts of Oxford, but it's just a small, quaint, beautiful little farm town. Pittington. You got a couple of roads here. You got a beautiful little church. What do they have here in Pittington? Oh, they have one of those red telephone boxes in the middle of a field. That's cool. What else they got? Yeah, it looks like they've got a beautiful church, St. Nicholas Church. What does that look like? Oh, it's just ancient and beautiful. Looks very British. It's got just that sort of musty, old, medieval feel to it. Good for you. Pittington seems like a lovely place, classic British country town, except that's all about to change. Because Pittington just found out, they were just informed, they didn't get a say, that the government is going to dump thousands of North African Muslims for absolutely no reason into their British hamlet. They call them asylum seekers. There's going to be a construction of a temporary housing facility that I'm sure won't affect Pittington like it's affected the whole rest of the United Kingdom. Like, for instance, for the first time in a census, English in Wales, less than half of the population describe themselves as Christian. I'm sure the rape gang inquiry will have nothing to do with it. This round of North African Muslims will certainly be the ones to bring enrichment and not rape gangs to Pittington. Definitely the city won't descend into absolute madness after stabbings and beheadings from people that, well, practice beheadings in their homeland, sectarian violence, ethnic violence. It won't turn into Belfast. You know, Belfast is really far away, you know, from here. It's right over here. So actually it's not that far. I mean, the British Isles are actually not that big. So, you know, what could possibly go wrong? What could go wrong in beautiful little Pittington? You know, you're definitely going to have masked gangs going in engaging in retribution violence against all of the migrants that you've dumped for absolutely no reason, that have no connection to Pittington, no connection to Christianity, no connection to the people, the customs, the language. It's been an abject failure. Multiculturalism is a failure. What has happened is wrong. It's an evil visited upon the natives of Pittington and Belfast and the English Isles, and people have had enough. Leafy Village votes overwhelmingly in favor of independence from the United Kingdom over plans to build massive migrant camp. Oh no. An Oxfordshire village has voted to hold a referendum on becoming an independent state in protest against a nearby asylum seeker camp. This is the outcry of a desperate people. Residents of Pittington and near Bicester held a meeting in the village hall on July 4th. Where they voted yes overwhelmingly. By 99%, they voted yes to independence from the British Crown. Planning permission currently being sought from the Ministry of Defense, as well as to accommodate 4,000 asylum seekers. Asylum seekers, right. The Oxfordshire site would be turned into accommodations for almost 2,000 single adult male asylum seekers, ages 18 to 65, but all of them will be 18. They'll all be North African. All of them will probably not have read this inquiry report where 250,000 young British girls were groomed and raped by Muslim newcomers, right, from Pakistan. Now, the parish council has welcomed the village's decision and said he plans to take the proposal all the way to President Donald Trump. He told the Express, "We had an incredible result, 2/3 of the village voting and the rest children, and the acceptance of 96%. It was truly astonishing. Self-determination is what people want, whilst they are being ignored and driven into a corner. There's a natural human instinct and reaction. The Principality of Pittington, the village that roared, will be put together their council and representatives to empower themselves. So look at that. Incredible things are happening. English village votes for independence as government plans to dump thousands of migrants on them. Let's go ahead and watch.
Welcome back. So a village in Oxfordshire has voted for independence from the UK over plans to house asylum seekers in the area. So residents of Pittington in Oxfordshire, which has an adult population of just 180 people, apparently, were left outraged after it was revealed that at least 1,250 male adult illegal migrants will be accommodated in a nearby military storage depot, which backs onto a children's playground. And now, in a revolutionary act of protest over the migrant camp, 96% of locals voted for independence from the rest of Britain so that they don't have to put up with this nonsense. I'm joined now by Pittington resident Ian Darby. Ian, thank you very much. I'm very sorry that this is happening in your area. I really am. How do you feel about it?
Well, as you can imagine, the village is taken aback. No consultation at all on this process. So literally we found out 3 weeks ago what is news that is fundamental to, as you said, the 350 people that live in the village. So we have been, as you highlighted in your introduction, we've worked hard on what we could do to raise the profile of what's happening, to start trying to ask questions of the government, bring the village together, which was very much what the independent referendum idea was about, and to attract people who can help with money and with legal and planning skills to help us see what we can do about it.
I'm also always baffled in these situations. You know, what about your human rights? What about the human rights of the people in your area not to have to live with potentially 1,200, illegal migrants, and very often in cases like we've seen with Crowborough, for example, which is also getting expanded, and I'm actually doing a live show from on Thursday. They're free range, aren't they? This will fundamentally affect your way of life.
You're spot on, and I think that's what's got us so upset that no one's come to talk to the village about it. You're right, we're 300 odd people, 1,250 men only. Why men only? I mean, you can ask you can have your own thoughts on that. But I mean, this is an open access in, access out site, as we understand it. So this is right on the edge of this village, right on the edge of the playing fields, the playing grounds, as you've said. These guys are going to have the ability to wander around the village. We've got no shops, we've got no pubs, we don't have any police. We have no way of providing any protection for our residents. So this isn't about us being, this is not an asylum seeker issue as far as we're concerned. It's the practical realities of what we can do to protect our residents, the older people, the kids in our village, to be okay with all of this. And at the moment, we're not getting the answers, which is why we're campaigning as we are.
No, well, good for you, actually. And, anything we can do here to highlight it, we're more than happy to do so. And I think you made a good point there, which is if it's only men, why are potentially, anyway, female or child asylum seekers deemed not to be safe in this particular barracks with all these blokes? But yet the women and the children of your particular village will have it thrust upon them. We'll go very quick if you've got a few seconds. Go on.
Yeah, well, and also the barracks close to Pittington are being offered additional security. These are military, people, soldiers being offered additional security. Piddington isn't. I mean, just madness, and don't mind me saying so.
It says it all. No, I don't mind you saying so. Look, Ian, thank you very much.
The village is only 180 people, so what's going to happen when you dump 1,000 or 2,000 or 4,000 North Africans on them? What do you think is going to happen? And I don't, it wouldn't matter to me if they were Chinese or Japanese or a bunch of Italians, to be quite honest with you, right? You really want to piss the British off, dump, 4,000 Frenchmen on them, right? Are there even 4,000 Frenchmen left? You will fundamentally change the entire culture of the place forever if you change the people. So if you take a town that has 180 people in it, and you dump 4,000 people from Papua New Guinea, then it suddenly becomes a mini Papua New Guinea. It ceases to exist as a British town. Everything changes forever, and it gets markedly worse for everyone. The people from Papua New Guinea should have stayed there because those are the customs and places that they like. And you know that because those are the customs and places and things and language that they bring with them wherever they go. Go ahead and check Minneapolis. Has Minneapolis become more like Minneapolis or more like Somalia? And so it's real. It makes your blood boil, honestly. Yeah, you read that right. Small village means to draw up a Declaration of Independence and hand it to the American ambassador in London and have it carried to President Trump. Brilliant. Nobody in the village was asked. Nobody's consent was sought. Everybody knows that consent would never be granted because the fixed habit of the British state is now to treat withholding of consent as an obstacle to be violated. A state that never stops going on about the abusive habitudes of certain kinds of men is destined to act in every turn just like the men unto the constituents. So a parish of a few hundred people reached back 250 years and picked up one idea of the modern British state that can no longer answer because it has abandoned in all but name the government that draws its power from the consent of the governed. Pittington has withdrawn its consent. It cannot enforce the withdrawal, and it knows it. What it can do is make the withholding visible, theatrical, and impossible to file and forget. I love that. Look at this. Now I want to travel there. I want to go there and hold a rally for the Pittington people. Very brave, very sad, horribly sad what's happened in England. England has now completely become a Muslim state. Number of Muslims in the UK up 44% in a decade. And they've done nothing for the native people to encourage them to procreate and start families and live better lives. Oh, it is horrendous. You're looking for war crimes? You're looking for crimes against humanity? This is it. Stand with Pittington. I certainly do. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. Independence from the British Crown feels great. Try it.